You look different.
I know.
Why you say I look different? For what?
I don't know. You just look different.
Like in a bad way? In a good way?
You look great.
In a bad way? Like I look worse? Like what are you saying?
No!
I
literally just said you look great.
Oh,
No,
so I've been looking bad.
No. What do you want me to say?
Nothing. I'm kidding. I just ordered skip the dishes and I ordered so much food they gave me extra cutlery.
Ooh.
You know that you know when you get so much food they assume like this cannot be for one person.
Yes.
I'm like, yep, it's just for me.
What'd you get?
Sushi.
Ooh.
Right. Anyways, shall we start?
I would like to start the podcast by saying, good morning, Emma. For my friend who told me that my voice sounds oddly sexual on the podcast. And that's a special intro for her. You don't have to include it.
Hello, Emma. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Fenmore.
I'm Jess.
And welcome. Oh, that's your thing. You go ahead.
No,
you go ahead.
Matter.
No, it's your thing. You go ahead.
This is a podcast where two aspiring creatives with huge dreams talk about their journey to making it. I, Jess, am trying to become a published author.
And I'm working on becoming a successful recording artist towards a world arena tour. All right. So let's get into it. Okay, Jess, what's your exceptional topic or something you found exceptional this week?
Something I found exceptionally frustrating was the presidential debates. And I didn't even watch, I only watched the last 5 minutes. I was working, I caught the end, and I decided that I'm not sure if I even want to watch the whole thing because I have a feeling that the memes are telling me all I need to know.
I did not watch the presidential debates either, but the memes were funny and I'm just not interested. I don't know how. I literally don't know how. It's 2020 and your two options are literally a man with some mental decline and an outrageous orange person. Like, it is ridiculous.
It is.
How did you get that, America? Rip. Sorry, buddy.
Do you want to check in about your goals and where you're at and what your week's been like?
What was your goal? Like, what were you trying to achieve for this week?
I was trying to edit my
Right. Did you do it?
I did. Yeah. So I edited like on my like printed out paper, which was really nice, and I liked the tangible aspect of it. It's a fun thing to do when all your work is just like on the computer screen all the time, so that was good. And now it's good. It actually kind of refreshed me to be more excited about like continuing on writing because it was just kind of all a mess and cluttered. And now I'm like, okay, when I go to add to a certain topic within this book, I know where to go, and it's just it's easier. So that's good. My challenge, I just keep noticing, is balancing my job that pays me money to survive and my creative work that I would like to one day become my job. Because the job that I have is one that is not just like always the kind of thing I can just come home and not bring with me. I work with youth, and so that can be hard sometimes.
Stressful. Yeah, I've worked in the social service field too for a few years, and you can't just leave it behind for the most part.
Yeah. What about you? Did you have a goal from the week?
Yeah, I think I said my goal was to finish a song and send it to the stores. I did not finish that song. That's a fail. Blah, 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 blah.
Why? What happened?
I failed on a goal this week.
How dare you?
This particular song, I've never done a song like this before. It is very different from everything I've ever done.
Ooh, go on.
It starts off seemingly very chill, very much almost dim brand, and then by the end of the song, you're like, "How did I get there?"
I like it.
But I had problems finishing it. The end of the song, I was like worried about it, so I sent it to like my little bro, and like he's the only one I feel like that's the most honest with me, and he told me straight up like, "Fenmore, this beat is trash." I was like, "Okay, I need to change it." So like I just changed it yesterday to something maybe cooler. It's something else.
This beat is trash.
That's all. That's literally says like It's like this beat is trash. I'm like, I guess you're right. It was funny because he was also saying like this is annoying and like could be a big TikTok song annoying. It's like, well, maybe that's what we're going for. Anyways, talking about trash, do you ever feel like you're trash because you're not?
Thanks for coming. We'll see you guys later.
How's your self-confidence? Do you care what people think about you? That's what we're on about. Isn't that right, Jess?
That is right. Let's talk about it. Caring what people think. Ooh, this is a juicy one for me. I like it. I like talking about it.
Because you care so much, right?
I did. I definitely did. And I feel like it's a lifelong journey to get over. But I've had some feedback from some of my friends who are listening to the podcast, and they were kind of saying, do you overthink what you say, or do you worry like what people will kind of think about what you say? And I was like, oh, it depends on my mood and my views of the future. I think like if I'm having a particularly good mood day and hopeful about my future, then it doesn't matter. Like I don't care. I don't think about it so much. But if I'm a little off, then I definitely like there was like a podcast that we recorded once, and afterwards for some reason I was just like, oh man, why did I say that? That was so dumb. And da, da, da. I don't even remember what it was now because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't remember what you said.
Well, clearly if it doesn't stand out to you, then it doesn't really matter.
That was so rude. You just gave that to me. You gave that to me.
You dick. Whatever. Oh yeah. And then I was just like, oh, like people could call me up for this or for this. And at the end of the day, it just has to come down to, with something like a podcast, like right now we have however many people listening, right? But
yeah, no one's commenting.
For bigger podcasts, like, or anything, YouTube videos, any content creation, like you just have to know that you're going to get feedback. There's going to be negative feedback. You're going to get criticism. And are you going to let that stop you from just being yourself?
Yes. Right? Yes, yeah, it is.
We are.
This
isn't who we actually are.
No, but talking about you worrying about what people commenting, but then realizing no one is commenting, I think that's the first thing that everyone should really recognize about what people think about you is that they don't. Like people really don't care about you. Most people are worried about themselves for the most part. Yeah. So take comfort in the fact that people don't care about you, and that's a great thing for the most part. Why are you so arrogant thinking people care? Like they have opinions about you? No. But when they do have opinions about you, we'll get to that. For the most part, they don't, right?
Well, I think it's important to kind of remember that using the podcast as an example, if anyone's going to comment on something that we say and say, oh, you didn't take into account this when you said that. If it's like a constructive criticism, it's like, oh, did you realize that when you said this, you hurt this group of people? It's like, okay, I'll take that criticism and thank you for that. And like be open to learning something from that rather than shutting it down and becoming defensive. Versus if someone's just like, this is garbage, like you guys suck. It's like that's obviously coming from a negative place in themselves where they're giving up their time to freaking comment or say that. Like,
yeah. Can you back up from the mic, please? She's making my editing job so hard. You also don't even know. Blah, blah, blah. Like what? You're getting Trump syndrome. Jeez.
You have the most screams on this podcast, okay? But
I
I guess you
don't.
know to step back from the mic, so
I literally don't.
I get closer.
I think though a huge confidence booster for me is gaining a skill. This might be a very guy thing, but I think
No,
it
that's
applies
fair.
to both genders. Don't underestimate like the confidence you gain from being able to do something well. I used to be a very insecure child, more so than I am now. Wow. I had serious social anxiety, particularly in grade 8. I couldn't say hi to anyone without like sweating bullets. It was crazy. It was really
Oh.
bad. So I went back to homeschool in grade 9. Anyways, but props to my parents. The best things they ever did for me was pushing me to play piano, even when I wanted to quit. And
Oh
I
yeah,
started getting
that's
good
fair.
at it. Yeah. And I started getting good at it. And I developed a confidence in that area. And that really helped me, I think, in my own mental space. And for anyone out there, I think it's still a good practice to gain a good amount of knowledge or skill in a certain area so that that's something you can fall back on, and it's like a base for you to start on. It shouldn't be what your whole confidence is based off of, but it's a really good starting point. I think it's just gain some skills for yourself
Yeah.
so that you know that you're a capable person, and
Yeah.
that will raise your confidence.
Yeah, I think it's different in different areas of your life. You can feel more self-confident in one area and less confident in another. And you
Yeah,
could use the areas that you feel confident in as kind of a jumping off point and kind of like an anchor where, like you were saying, you gained a skill in piano, and maybe when you went to school you didn't feel so socially skilled, but you knew you had this one piece of you that you identified with and you felt strong in and confident in, so you can
yeah.
kind of like hold on to that.
And it was my jumping point to start getting to know people, because I remember that's how I did socialize with people, was at the piano when they came
Mm-hmm.
over and I was playing something, or I started writing songs with some of the girls at my high school, and it was great because I knew I could do this, and not anyone else at the school could actually, which was kind of really weird. But that was my thing, and it was really great way to start building my social confidence, which I have a lot more of now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get the impression that when we talk about not caring what other people think, that you don't give it much thought about about other people's opinions of you, yet you also describe yourself as insecure. I'm curious for you to speak on that. That
Um,
was so formal. Can you speak on this, please?
well, yeah, of course, I can. I think insecurity comes in a lot of different forms. My insecurity doesn't necessarily stem from what people think of me. Stems more from what I feel is lacking in myself sometimes, and I can sense that more
Mm-hmm.
than other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I get very insecure about it. I do realize sometimes I portray an image that is very self confident. I didn't realize that until some people mentioned it to me, like, you seem very self confident of yourself. I'm like, I guess I am in a lot of ways, but also in my own mental space, I have a lot of my own demons, to use an over cliched word, or sorry,
Mm-hmm.
to use an overused word. But in terms of not caring what people think, I just, for the most part, really don't. I care when they like me, and I'm like, oh, I like you too. No, I was gonna say there's gonna come a point where you're gonna feel like people really care about what you do in certain
Mm-hmm.
areas of your life, and you gotta have strong self-defense mechanisms, or strong
Mm.
logic in quotes, to defend yourself. And the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because if you look at fashion, I think it is one of the strongest markers on how much you care about what people think about you, right?
Mm.
Because
Maybe.
some people are like, well, fashion, like, who cares? I don't really care. But
Mm-hmm.
you do care. That's why you're not wearing that super red lipstick, or maybe that's not
Mm.
why you're not wearing that dress that you wanted to wear, or those
Yeah.
shorts that you want to wear, because you actually really do care what people think about when you
Yeah.
walk out the street.
Yeah.
Um,
And interestingly enough, I think that the more kind of outrageous of clothing or hair or whatever that you do, or I do, anyways, I can kind of think for myself, but the the more of a practice it is in not caring what other people think. Because, like, you see someone who's
Yeah.
just like, wearing something that's very out of the norm, and people might be like, oh, wow, they want attention, or they
Right.
are
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
attract whatever. But I think it's like they've gotten to a point where they really are like, no, I'm not going to like go by these societal standards, and I'm going to wear what I want to wear, regardless of what I think other people will
Yeah.
think.
Because you know why? People's
Mm.
opinions are so flimsy.
Yeah.
Like they're flimsy, fleeting, and have no real consequence in your reality if they choose
Yes.
so to. Like that's what
Yeah.
fashion is. Like,
Yeah.
let me be more specific. Let's talk about mom jeans. Okay. Mom jeans and then crop tops and short shorts for guys. Okay. First, mom jeans. So back in the 90s or whenever, mom jeans were considered cute. And then a few years later, I don't know why, but the whole culture all agreed that nah, that wasn't it. No, that's not it. So then low-rise jeans were all of a sudden where
Oh God, hate
them
them.
Britneys, them Jessicas, like these girls were playing dangerous limbo how low can you go games. Like it was ridiculous. Now there's a solid argument as to why we don't wear low-rise jeans, right? But then fast forward a few years later to our day and age, and now mom jeans are all the rage all of a sudden. They were fit.
Mm-hmm.
They were fit,
Yeah.
right? They're styling.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's mom jeans. There's an example for
Yeah.
you.
Think about eyebrows. Think about the size of your ass. Like, this is all stuff that like at one time was different than it is now, which just goes to show it's all so arbitrary. But so by trying to fit into whatever is the standard right now is just not really playing to what you actually like about yourself.
Yeah, and hopefully as you grow older, you start getting a better sense of how everything is almost a construct. Because, like I said, crop tops and short shorts for guys. Wh- When I found out that that was masculine fashion in the 80s, I
Oh
was
my
like, wait, what? Because I didn't know that. I wasn't there. I was born in the 90s and then became aware of my surroundings in the early 2000s. And like in those times, boys were wearing baggy, well, they were wearing like baggy shorts
Baggy.
down to their ankles and like baggy shirts that were big enough that they could fit their main chick and side chick in the same shirt and like they wouldn't even meet each other. So that was the look. And I don't know
Oh
what
my
happened
God.
in between those times, but it became weird or gay to be wearing crop tops or short shorts all of a sudden. But
Yeah.
now it's kind of changing again because guys are showing their thighs more now, day and age.
Woo.
And I'm just wondering, like, girls are gonna be like, "Shut up! We love mom jeans. They're so comfortable." I get it, but
I guess mom jeans, high-waisted jeans should just always be the thing though. It just makes so much more sense for like any body
sure.
type that isn't Britney Spears in the early 2000s. Although I shouldn't say any body type, but
But just a final note on this fashion thing. Why do girls always steal guys' fashion? No, tell me this. Tell me this. We had high heels first. We had them leggings first. And apparently we had crop tops and short shorts first. Or maybe we had them at the same time. I don't know. But
mm,
nowadays girls have a wider range of clothing than guys ever had. Like your
right.
wardrobe could span millennia.
And I don't know because I think that men had a big say in what women wear over the years,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
the patriarchy. So I don't know. You tell me.
Sorry. Okay, final note about fashion is this is not we're not a fashion podcast, I swear. It's suits. Like, why haven't we changed suits in so long? Because people
Mm. They
like
change like the smallest amount.
they're like,
Like,
oh, it's slimmer now. Thanks, it's less comfortable. Thanks. What the hell? Like, you girls have every option from pantsuits to like bare minimum, just draped curtains, and they're cool and they look amazing. Well, then guys
well,
have just suits. I'm like, we're gonna have to switch that up.
yeah, we are. We're breaking out of it. It doesn't mean that it's easy for you to wear something that has, you know, been seen as feminine. While we're on this note and talking about caring what people think, it's interesting to like, we're talking about the differences in like fashion between men and women and stuff, but like to acknowledge the aspects of like, not everyone can just say, fuck it, I don't care what people think when it comes to their physical appearance, because, it's like for like say a transgender person to be more accepted in the world, they may need to, or they may feel that they need to present more as, female if it's a transgender woman. And for me over here as like a cis white woman, I can say, yeah, I'm not shaving my armpits, like whatever, fuck it. And like, I probably won't get judged that much, but maybe for someone else, a transgender woman, like they don't really have that privilege to just say, oh, fuck it, I don't care what people think. And because people are already caring way more than they need to about that person's life. So I don't know, it's just something to note.
I'm not gonna lie though, I do worry what David Dobrik thinks of me right now.
You know what? I'm gonna break it to you. He is not thinking of you.
Shut up. He better make dad jokes in my TikTok comment section. That's all I want.
He doesn't know you exist.
Oh, he will.
He will.
No, this
but
is
he
funny.
doesn't yet.
I sent him a DM. I was like, David Dobrik, please comment a dad joke in my comment section. That's all I want on TikTok. That's all I want. Just for the thrill of a random crazy thing happening like that. But I know he's not gonna see it, or if he does, he's gonna ignore it. And then one day when I do meet him, I'm gonna make such a big deal about it. It's gonna be like, what the hell did I do to you, dude? I'm like, check your DMs. Check your DMs.
Oh my God, he's gonna be like, from 5 years ago, a million messages down.
5 years ago, excuse me, next year. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. In my like in my
Are you okay?
in my work, yeah. Okay, so here's an example. Let's go back to the days when I worked at a grocery store. That's how I met you. And I worked my way into management there of a department. And
what a disaster.
Oh God. When I think back to like the managers that I worked with there, like their idea of success for me was to just continue working my way up in the company and eventually getting to the point of being like a store manager or whatever.
Gag me on a sock no.
Oh, I know. And they're like, you can do it. And I was like, yeah, I know I could do it, but that's just not my passion. That just does not light me up. So let's look inward a little to what my actual view of success is and realize that like my view of success has more to do with like having the people around me that I want to, like having enough money to survive comfortably and maybe be able to help some people in my life and other people, and to maybe go traveling a bit and whatnot. But it doesn't necessarily mean like extreme wealth. It doesn't necessarily mean extreme external success. My mom wanted me to be a doctor back in the day because who knows, I was good at biology in whatever year, like who knows, but you gotta look inward for that shit.
You can't compare yourself to other people's success as well. That is the pure poison to happiness.
Even if they're in the same field that you want to be successful in.
Yes.
I think you can compare yourself in terms of, oh, look, this is possible. They're doing it, so why can't I too? And don't get screwed over by the mindset that there's like, quote unquote, too much saturation in a field, because that's not helpful. Yeah.
No, it's not. Especially in the creative field, it is really easy to see people succeed almost randomly and off of the craziest things. And just, it seems like they have all the luck in the world and therefore you don't. Yeah. And that's not a healthy way to view things. I think being happy for other people's success is a much better place to be at, because then you aspire to them. You're not jealous of them, right? Because the comparison game, I think everyone has said this before, it is just a simple recipe for depression. Honestly, like you compare yourself all the time to other people, you're not going to gain self-confidence, and your whole mindset is going to revolve around other people, but they don't even know you. They don't even care about you. So why are you worrying so much about other people and where they're at?
Yeah, don't give their opinions or where they're at in life too much weight in your own journey. Like, and like you were kind of saying before too, like it's not helpful to care what other people think of where you're at in life or who you are. If it prevents you from being your most authentic self or doing your real meaningful goals in life, but you can still, like, there's still going to be a balance between, it's not totally like, oh, I don't care what anyone thinks about me. It's like you can get feedback from people, like you said, with
Yeah.
sharing your songs. You can, like, you don't want to become so removed from it that you can't take feedback and thus like resolve conflict in your relationships. But I think when it comes to like creative stuff, like as a creative, you have to have an internal compass, get feedback, about your work and be open to receiving critique, but make sure that you're always doing what feels right to you, what feels
Yeah.
authentic.
And talk about compass, I think that's a great analogy for knowing where you're going. So if you do have a vision and you can explain it to someone, this is where I'm trying to go, and that someone maybe might be more helpful in trying to explain to you why you're
Mm.
going that way or why you're not going that way. So
Mm-hmm.
having a compass is a great analogy. Like, know where you're going, know what you're trying
Good
to do.
point. And express that to other people. Tell them where you want to go. And that's a big part of caring what people think too, is like me having a dream of writing a book. Like I was often afraid to share that with anyone, mostly for fear that like I just wouldn't do it. And then I would have told someone that I did it and they'd be like, okay, let's see it. But
Now you've
actually,
told it to like a whopping
yeah.
10 people. How many people listen to this podcast? I don't know.
I think
But
the last episode got like 26 downloads. That's pretty cool.
oh, thank you to all 26 people who are
Yeah.
listening. Really
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Yeah, we really do.
Call us out on our bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a form of accountability as well. It's a practice in being authentic, in having self confidence, and in being held accountable by others.
Yeah, I think all that is absolutely correct. And if I love you more, I will listen to your opinion more, that's for sure. But there are only two people in my life, or two people in my journey, as they say, that I really listen to. And that's the past me and the future me.
Oh,
I tell myself, I only care about the kid me who I want to make proud
mm.
by how I'm living my life today. And if I've still got that fight and become even bolder and cooler for that little kid, and the future me who's going to look back at the life I've lived and say, damn, son, you did it. Look at what you
No
did.
regrets.
You did it. So those are the two people I care most about, past me and future me. And present me got to get it together and
Nice.
finish this damn song so that I can move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will finish
Yeah.
it.
So, in that sense, it's good to care what those versions of you think. The whole underlying message, I think, is notice where caring what other people think of you is holding you back from being yourself or doing what you want to do. Okay, so do we have a sponsor today?
Yeah, the sponsor today, oh my
It's
word,
David Dobrik.
is David Dobrik. David Dobrik's rejection of me. Thank you, David Dobrik,
Oh, thank you, David Dobrik's rejection.
for fueling my fire even more. I will meet you one day, my friend. I think you're awesome, but I will meet you one day and we will have a dad joke off and I will beat you and it will be amazing. So thank you, David Dobrik's rejection of me.
Some takeaways for today are I want you all listening to reflect on what you caring what someone else thinks of you or what you think they think of you is stopping you from doing something. Identify what those things are. And then also try and do something this week that usually you wouldn't do because you're worried about what people might think about you, but is something that's really aligned with who you are and that you want to do, and just fucking do it.
Do all of that. And if that's too hard, you know what you can also do, like we said, you can start building skills. Start small and start gaining self-confidence, and that will help you gain self-confidence. All right. So for next week, we're gonna take all this self-confidence on ourselves, and I'm gonna be self-confident in finishing my songs.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I'm just gonna go with it. What are you working on this week?
I'm gonna try and get to. Let's do ambitious. I'm just gonna try and get to 70 pages this week. Comments? Do you have any constructive criticism? Because if you just have a critique based in a negative place, I don't care what you think, and I'm not going to listen.
My only comment is the beat's trash. Thank you for listening today.
Thanks for coming.
And remember, have
Wrap
fun
it
out.
up.
And remember, have fun out there.